Hello, it's Eve. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I appreciate you being here and yeah, just thought I'd point that out. It is a beautiful sunny morning here in the Netherlands. I am making my way uptown for some lunch with a friend, which is very exciting because I've been home alone for the past few days. But first, I wanted to talk to you about dress forms. The reason for this is I have an article on my website which gets a lot of great feedback and people find it really helpful, but I still get further questions, and I thought I might talk to you about those questions and other questions you might have when it comes to a dress form in this video. So stay tuned. Don't forget to like this video if you find it in any way helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more about designing, constricting and patterning your own clothes, fashion design, that kind of thing. And yeah, hit the bell for notifications when I next post a video. But let's crack on. So what is a dress form? Well, for me personally, I actually always refer to them as a dress stand. It's how they were referred to when I was at fashion school and when I was doing my BTEC in pattern making before that at college. Like, they've always been a dress stand rather than a dress form, but they do seem within the home sewing community to be referred to as a dress form. And this is not just in the UK, but outside the UK and the US as well, and other places around the world. They also come under different names though. You might hear a dress form referred to as a mannequin, as a tailor's dummy. There are all sorts of words used to describe them. Whatever term you use, as long as you know what it is that you're using, that's the important thing. That said, I did want to just differentiate a little bit between the three terms of a dress form, a mannequin and a tailor's dummy. Just because if you are looking for an older dummy dress form stand, so it gets really confusing. Understanding the original terminology for them might help you find the right one. So a dress form is the term used by most home sewers when they're talking about having something at home to fit garments to. They'll be talking about a dress form, but fashion designers also use it. Not necessarily those in the UK, who will probably refer to it as a dress stand, but definitely those in the US and other countries. Correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously I don't work in the design field in other countries, but they will also possibly refer to it as a dress form. Then you have a mannequin. Now, a mannequin is typically a more stylized version. So if you think about what you see when you go into a store and you see the garments all on these kind of like high shine plasticky mannequins, that is what a mannequin is. You might sometimes find one that's a little bit more stylized but coated in fabric for the home, but those are quite rare. And then there's tailor's dummy. So although the tailor's dummy is basically a dress form today, it was originally used by tailors as a tool for fitting. Self-explanatory, tailor's dummy. Now more and more the term used to describe them are dress form. Now a dress form you might find, as my friend here to the right, she has a dress form that goes, it's not bifurcated, whereas this dress form is partially bifurcated. And if you don't know what that word means, I'm going to tell you shortly, so hold tight. But before we get that far ahead and start talking about bifurcated, I wanted to talk to you about the reasons, the things that you should consider before you even buy yourself a dress form. And those are adjustability, portability, shape, size, type, and usage. And probably cost as well is the seventh. Yeah. So let's go through each of those in turn. So adjustability is really important. When a dress form has adjustability, it means it can be adjusted. So like the one on my left here, she has different dials. Some of them you can see, some of you can't. But she has 3 on the center front, 3 on the side seams, on each of the side seams, and 3 on the center back. She also has this, I don't know what to even call that, but at the top of the neck, she also has this section. And if I push down and twist it, it will open up her neck as well. There is also on the inside an extra adjustability dial, which is to extend and shorten her torso, which can be shortened and lengthened by approximately 2 inches. Hi, Kevin. my cat has decided to join us. Now she's finished going to the toilet constantly. So this is an example of an adjustable dress form. This is great if you're going to be working with different shaped bodies, different sized bodies. An adjustable dress form will help you, say you're a dressmaker and you have clients come to you, an adjustable dress form will help you be able to do some like rough fittings in between their visits, because you can change the dress form to get as close to their measurements as possible. With an adjustable dress form, you can usually adjust they're normally the girth measurements, so those that go round. So the bust, the waist, the hips, the neck. By twizzling this, I can make the neck become larger or smaller. Some dress forms, like this one, you can extend the height, the length of the torso as well. But as I said a short moment ago, only by a little amount, and this doesn't actually extend as far as I need it for my torso length. But yeah, those are the standard adjustments that you can make with an adjustable dress form. If you compare that to my lady on the right, there's nothing adjustable with her. Like, I can't make her smaller or bigger with any dials or anything. The only thing I can do is pop her shoulders in. This will freak my cat out, but hi Lucy. Like so. So if I was making a strapless dress and I wanted the shoulders to be further in to see how it's really gonna work, or if I've created something really fitted and her shoulders are a little bit too broad, I can push them in, get the garment on, and then pop them out. To be fair, this is a feature that I don't really use, very sporadically, and it's normally an additional cost to have that happen, which I probably could have done without, but I bought her when I was a fashion student. So your next consideration is portability. What do you need your dress form to do? Are you going to be using it just at home? Are you going to be having it in a studio, moving from different places? Are you going to be taking it out on the road with you when you go to see clients or you go and do workshops, that kind of thing? So the portability is really important. If you're going to be taking it out and about a lot with you, then probably an adjustable one is better because they are normally a bit lighter. If you're going to be in a fixed location, like your home or your design studio, then something that's a bit heavier, like a more professionally made version, will be better for you. The next consideration is shape. So as we know, every human is different. We all have different body shapes, heights, that kind of thing. And the same is true for dress forms. If you look at any dress form, you'll see a range of different shapes and sizes. To my right, we have my K&L. She has BSL written on her. She's supposed to be a slightly more curvier version of the standard shaped dress form. The standard being the industry standard, fashion industry standard. BSL meant that she was a little bit curvier. I don't see it personally. I love her. I just don't love that she's not more like my body shape. No, she's going to fall over. I'm going to pop her next to me. If you then look at my lady here, she is considered to be a plus size dress form. She's curvier, definitely curvier than this one, but not as curvy as me. Like, I've had to pad out her bust area with an old bra of mine. She doesn't have much in the way of a bum, as you can see. There's like, her bum's really flat, as is this one. Her tummy's quite flat as well. There's only a little bit of shaping to her tummy, but possibly a little bit more. Actually, I think this one has more shaping because her waist comes in more. We won't talk about mini stand because Hilda doesn't count at this point. Should have just done that to begin with. Then there's size. So obviously Hilda's a fixed size. Oh, that's not Hilda. Hilda's a fixed size. My lady's a fixed size. This lady's not. She can change between different sizes. I forget her complete measurements, but she can expand up to bigger than me. I got this one because she was closest in base measurement to my size, and I knew that I could tweak them without having large gaps in between each of the adjustable areas. Because when you open them up, you end up with lots of hollow space, as it were. You can't really pin fabric in a hollow space, and I wanted it to be as close to my size as possible so that I could just size up a little bit if needed. I should just pad her out actually to be exactly my size, and that would probably be the best plan. I hate the fabric, it's so gross. Ugh. So before you even buy a dress form, you really need to take your measurements properly. I've actually created a video on taking your body measurements. It's a thorough, in-depth video. I haven't edited it yet. Hi, miss. But that will come out a week from now, so you can always go and check that. And it's really important to take your body measurements accurately so you understand what size dress form you do want to buy and that it is appropriate for your body shape and your body size. So what are the different types of dress forms? There are 5. We've already spoken about adjustable. I've mentioned the word bifurcated. There's also custom dress forms, display dress forms, and professional dress forms. There are more and more brands popping up that kind of offer a professional / semi-professional dress form. There are quite a few that pop up that offer custom. This might be in terms of adding your measurements to their app, if you like, providing your measurements, and then they will create a pattern which you then download, sew, fill yourself. Or there are custom dress forms that can be done based upon 3-dimensional body scanning or body imaging that they then create a dress form for. Artemisia, you're not going to play right now, are you? Can you go play somewhere else so you're not scratching right under me? So let's start with adjustable. We've covered a lot about adjustable dress forms with my lady here. One thing I haven't pointed out is quite often they come on a pole, which is adjustable. You can change the height up and down. They quite often come with a hem gauge as well, so that if you put it at a certain point, you know how long the drop of the hem will be. And they normally have some kind of casters so that you can roll them around. Not all adjustable forms will. Only the slightly higher end versions will come with casters for rolling. Otherwise, they might just come with a simple tripod stand that stands there. Something to consider with adjustable stands, they are not necessarily the most stable. You are getting what you pay for, and what you're paying for is a cheaper manufactured option compared to a professional dress form. Artemisia, where you keep them? If you're going to play with it, go play with it on the road. Look, yes. I'll keep her busy for a little bit. You won't hear her scratching around like a little rat. She's not a rat, she's lovely. I think that's it. You get what you pay for. Okay, so moving on to bifurcated. Bifurcated, literally bi meaning two. Bifurcated means that you have a split, that normally you would have legs. Oh, I just got a pin. So she is semi-bifurcated. She doesn't have legs going all the way, but you can see that there is the option to put a trouser here or fit around this shape if you were inclined to. I wouldn't, because that's quite rubbish. If we look at Hilda, Hilda is not bifurcated. She doesn't have a split for her legs to come down, okay? And the same is true for my lady here. She is not bifurcated either. As already mentioned, a custom dress form is, as it says, it is made custom to your body. This could be done either as being you providing measurements to a company that then creates a pattern that they send to you, that you then cut and sew and fill yourself. There are quite a few YouTube videos on this process. It might be that you go to a company and have a 3-dimensional scan of your body, and then they create a dress form based upon that 3-dimensional scan. There's so much noise today, I'm so sorry. But it is going to be custom to that specific size. Then there's the display dress form. So this isn't really a dress form so much, but it would be referred to more as a mannequin. So that's the kind of like glossy one that I mentioned at the start of this video. You wouldn't use that to design or fit because there's no way to use pins. It's not coated, it's just plastic and shiny normally, or you can get them slightly matte, but there's nothing useful about them for designing purposes or fitting purposes. Can you like do that in the middle of the rug so you're not making so much noise? Just got a little bit of my tape, my dressmaker's tape. And then there's the professional dress form, which is what I have here from Kennet and Linsell. There are a number of companies that make them. Kennet and Linsell is British, and I got it from the UK when I lived there. When I was there, I am from the UK. I just currently am not living there. It's quite an investment for a professional dress form. This one cost me upwards of £1,000, and that was back in 2009, I think. Well, I ordered it in the January and I got it like 8 weeks later because they custom make them. But she is a professional. You will find these used in fashion schools. At UCA Epsom, where I did my design degree, my fashion design degree, there were many of these around the studio. You might also find some made by a company called Plan, who are another UK company. They make versions of this, not quite the same quality and a little bit smaller in size. So a size 12 from K&L will not be the same size as a size 12 from Plan. Theirs run slightly smaller to scale. There are other companies in the US whose names I cannot remember at the moment. I'll put them on the screen and in the description below. Benefits of a professional dress form are that they are professionally made, so they're going to last a lifetime. This one has lasted me a long time. I have used her quite a bit, probably not as extensively as I would have hoped to. She is made with a fiberglass interior, and then she has her form covered with a light padding. It's a very light padding, like it's just enough padding, like I can feel the structure underneath it. It's a solid structure. And then she's obviously got this lovely fabric finish as well, which is quite tightly woven, and it has the seam lines that you would expect to see. So the center front, center back, princess seams, all that jazz. I find it really easy to pin on her compared to her. Professional, non-professional. So in terms of the best dress forms, at the end of the day, I could run through a list of the different dress forms that I have owned or used in my lifetime, but it would be a big list. It comes down to what's the best for your needs. Is it that you need one to be more affordable than expensive? Well, then you're going to want to get an adjustable. Unless you can find a fixed size professional on somewhere like Etsy. Oh, there's a big boat coming through. They're tugging a big boat. Sorry. I live right by a canal here in the Netherlands. Oh, it's not, it's the neighbour. He's finally finished his boat and he's going on holiday. He's been building his boat or doing something for the last few weeks. Oh, yay. Adjustable or fixed, that's another key consideration. Do you want it to be changeable? If you're somebody that loses and gains weight, a bit like a yo-yo, a bit like me, then maybe an adjustable one is better for you because you can adjust it along with your body measurements as they change. If you're somebody that typically stays the same body shape and size, then maybe a fixed dress form would be, a fixed size dress form, sorry, would be a better investment for you. It comes down to portability. Are you going to be using it just in your home, or are you going to be wanting to take it to different workshops? Like maybe you're teaching workshops, maybe you're going to enjoy the workshops. If it's the latter, well, possibly you might want to be able to take your own dress form so that you can work on it whilst you're in the class, if they allow that. And there's all sorts of reasons why you might want a dress form to be portable. Bifurcate it. Like I actually really want to get myself, I want to get a men's dress form, a male dress form. I also want to get a female legs dress form, bifurcated legs, for design purposes, but realistically I don't have the space for these items yet. I do want to get them when I have my own design studio again, but I don't know whether I want to get my own design studio while I'm here in the Netherlands. It's a catch-22, like I don't know how long we're going to be here for. Are we going to be here just for the next 2 years when David's contract is up for renewal? He may decide he doesn't want to stay here after all. He might want to try and find another job in academia somewhere else in the world or back in the UK. So for me to then invest in the next 2 years in a design studio here and all the things that I would need, like industrial machines, dress forms, storage for fabrics, all this kind of thing, when 2 years from now I might have to just pack it all up, ship it out to whichever country we're then moving to, well, that's going to be hugely expensive, which is why I'm like in this like, ooh. Should I have done this when we first got here? Maybe, but did I know that we would still be here for this? Like, I wasn't sure we would even be here for 3 years. He might have hated it after the first 6 months. I'm fortunate that my business setup allows me to be able to move from place to place as his job requires it. You know, that's easy for me. I enjoy that kind of nomadability, but it does limit what I can do in terms of bringing items like more professional dress forms and industrial sewing machines into my business. So that's it. That's everything I have to say about dress forms. You need to choose the one based upon your body size, your body type, your body measurements, your budget, your needs. Does it need to be portable? Can it be fixed in place? Does it need to be a professional one because you're thinking of attending design school, or you want to set up your own fashion design line? Are you just a home sewer that just needs it for the occasional home sewing project? Think about the needs that you have before you part with your cash. I'm going to link to the article that is on my website so you can get some more information there. I also link out to a few that I do recommend. I haven't talked about Hilda. So Hilda is a fixed size stand as well, as you can see. She is half the size of my large scale dress form here, my lady. I always refer to her as my lady because my mum used to say, oh, have you got your lady? Are you taking your lady with you? So Hilda is supposed to be half size, and what that means is if I were to measure her bust and divide it into 2, I would get her bust. And it's really handy if you're a fashion student. A lot of universities will say not to invest in one, and to be fair, if you're a fashion student you probably don't have the cash. She was about £350, which is a lot of money now I think about it. I got her before I even started fashion school, and actually when I started fashion school they were like, oh, you don't really need her. But for me, it was about, because I'm a very technical designer, I lead with pattern making and draping more than 2-dimensional work. For me, it was really handy to have her. I could design little things, I could test out patterns and shapes on her with a better understanding of scale and proportion. That is a reason why fashion schools lecturers will tell you not to get one. They'll say, oh, you can't see the proportion correctly. And I say, well, that's not true. I can test something out on her, and because she is an exact half scale, I can see proportionately how it would look on her, my lady, because Hilda is. So my dad asked me after I published a vlog and I had shown how to take the draped skirt from her and mark it out. And he said to me, what's the point? She's like a doll. You're not making dolly clothes. He didn't say it like that. Oh, there is a big boat coming through. I really want to show you. It's a big boat. That's where the people were moving. Shall I show you? Let me show you. Okay, I've just recorded it and I'll add it in. I might actually put it in my vlog instead. So my dad had asked me, why would you use her? She's like a doll. You're not making doll clothes. And I said, well, actually, she is completely half. He was like, don't be daft, ding dong. You know, like, if you take a measurement of her waist, it's not half. I said, it is. And I showed it to him on the call. And then he said, okay, fine. So like when you're going around the body, but clearly not the height. And I was like, well, actually, if you measure, and I did it in front of him, if you measure from her centre front neck down to her centre front waist, that is actually half of the centre front neck to the centre front waist of my lady. She's literally a half size scale model, okay? So I can sit there and I can design either with paper or with fabric. I can drape on her. If I've been flat patterning, I can fix it to the body and have a look at the proportions, the scale, size, shape, all those key things that we've spoken about before when we're talking about fashion design. And I can get an understanding of if it might work. And if I think it might need tweaking, I can tweak it on a smaller scale, and then I can size it up. I can easily scan in that pattern, which I do quite a lot. I can size it up and then I can print it out at full scale and I can test it on her. Like, this is a more sustainable, because you have to remember, I'm all about sustainability. I want to be as sustainable as possible in what I do. I don't want to create excess waste if it's unnecessary. And by using her to test my ideas out first, I can get an idea if they're going to work without wasting a whole bunch of paper and a whole bunch more fabric than if I were using her. Okay? So if you are a student and you think, well, actually, I'm probably going to be more of a three-dimensional designer, then one of these will do you well. If you're not, if you prefer to do two-dimensional fashion design, which by that I just mean like designing on paper or on the computer, not really playing around with the fabrics and draping and patterning on the form, then you won't need her at all. But I found her to be incredibly helpful. I am first and foremost a creative pattern cutter that, you know, I love pattern making and draping. That's my passion. And I design using those methods, those two methodologies. So for me, it was a no-brainer to get her to help me with my design process. That's another thing to take on board. What is your end goal? What are you going to be using a dress for? If it is just, as I said before, to do an occasional fitting at home when you're sewing your own garments, then you could probably get away with either a cheap second-hand professional one, like my lady, or you could get a cheaper adjustable form as well. If you're going to be doing close-fitted work, like contouring, draping, and taking those and creating patterns and then grading them and selling them, then you definitely want to get a more professional one. It's just how it is. Like, you could use this. I hate using this. As someone that is a professional who knows what she's doing, I hate using this one. But that's because it doesn't fulfill the needs that I need it to fulfill when I've had this one for so long. If I hadn't had a professional dress form ever, if I hadn't used a professional dress form ever, then probably she'd be amazing. I would probably love her and I'd be so excited to use her. But I'm not. I hadn't, but that's how it is. Okay, I'm going to stop waffling now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video in some way useful. Please do give it a like because it tells YouTube that people like my videos. If you want to see more from me about pattern making, fashion design, garment construction, that kind of thing, please do subscribe to my channel. I know we put a new video out on Wednesdays and Sundays. Sundays are more of a vlog, projecty kind of thing, a getting to know me better kind of video. Hit the bell for notifications if you want YouTube to let you know when I post a new video so you don't miss it, because you know everyone wants to watch them. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for sharing your day with me, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.